How's it going, guys? Because hope you guys are on a great week. So I'm back today with, I guess, a gaming news video, guys. I was not planning to record or make this video, but yeah, after this weekend, I kind of felt I had to, just to clarify some information that we've now had confirmed, and obviously, you know, give my opinion and thoughts on this and get a discussion going. So if you don't know, and I'm be surprised if you don't, over the weekend, Ubisoft support Twitter account basically blew up, and yeah, it was not good PR for Ubisoft. So there was a tweet that was sent by a PC enjoyer who is an anti-DRM supporter, of course, and he sent this tweet to Ubisoft support, basically saying he'd received an email from Ubisoft advising that they were going to close his account, and his account had been suspended due to inactivity because he hadn't logged into his account in a while, and he was given an email and was basically, it said, you know, please follow this link within the next 30 days by this date to cancel that closure. The email itself, when you look at the wording and you look at it, it really does feel like a little bit of a scam sort of phishing email. So he contacted Ubisoft support and he's like, is this legitimate? Is this a legitimate thing? And Ubisoft support got back and basically confirmed that yes, it was legitimate. And they obviously encouraged him to follow the email, to log into his account within 30 days and follow the, you know, cancel account closure link that was in the email, confirming effectively that if his account was closed, he would actually lose access to his games and his account, and obviously offered support if he needed any. Now, the reason that people kind of blew up about this, not surprisingly, is one, because Ubisoft, you know, basically had the audacity to threaten to close his account because they deemed him as being too inactive, whatever that means. But also, if his account was closed, all of the games that he had purchased, and that could be hundreds of dollars worth of games, would basically effectively go bye-bye, and he would no longer have access to those and actually wouldn't be able to recover his account. Once it was closed, that was it. And this is what caused a whole heap of panic over the weekend. Understandably, you know, people tweeting at Ubisoft support. There was one guy that actually sent another tweet confirming if this was just for PC games on the Ubisoft Connect own store, because basically when you do play an Ubisoft game now, pretty much since like 2012 onwards, you have to, when you first boot up an Ubisoft game, if on PC, you have to connect to the Ubisoft Connect store, a little bit like the EA app, and it forces you to go through their launcher, which is absolutely abysmal. It's a really crap launcher anyway. I don't know why you would purchase a game on the store, but there will be people that have done that. So a lot of people were like, well, does this just mean games that I've purchased on the store? If that's the case, I'm not going to purchase any further games on the Ubisoft store. Or is this all games on PC? So if I've purchased games on Steam, does it apply to those games as well? There was a tweet sent by Within the Ashes that basically said, if my account gets closed and I own my games on Steam, can I still play them? Or do you revoke my games on Steam too? And Ubisoft support actually responded to this, confirming, and they obviously use very PR speak of sort of saying, oh, we are not closing active accounts. However, if you decide to close your Ubisoft account, you will not be able to play our games, even if they have been bought in Steam. So even if you've purchased them in the Steam store, you will not be able to play them if your Ubisoft account, if your Ubisoft Connect account is closed, which is absolutely shocking. And you can imagine people's horror. People will have purchased many games, but there hasn't really been that much on offer for Ubisoft recently. A lot of their game releases have effectively been very lackluster, very dull. Even for me myself, I think the last Ubisoft game I actually properly played was Valhalla, and I didn't finish that game, and I haven't really properly jumped into anything. I think I tried Extraction, really didn't enjoy it. And the next things I'm really interested in are Assassin's Creed Mirage and also Star Wars Outlaws. Those are the only two upcoming things that I'm very much excited for, and looking forward to, and was planning to play. But so even for me, it's been a long time since I've actually logged into my Ubisoft Connect account. So in essence, I have been inactive for, I'd say, more than 12 months easily. Now, does that mean that my account is come up for closure? I don't know. Obviously, we have had a little bit more clarification on this from Ubisoft themselves, finally. But when this first hit, the rhetoric throughout the weekend was just, people were just panicking, all over the place. Understandably, they were up in arms about this. People, understandably, were not happy with Ubisoft. This is an incredibly anti-consumer move on their part. The funny thing is, Ubisoft really have not had great PR for quite a while. They are a company that regularly makes horrible decisions, and the most recent showcase, it seemed like finally they were starting to kind of maybe listen and start to try and address some of these things. But there was a tweet from many sort of gamers responding to this that did kind of make me chuckle, and it was from Rayman for Smash Together, and he basically said, old me would have been up in arms about this, but Ubisoft higher ups making horrible decisions has become such a constant thing that it is hard to be remotely phased anymore, which is completely rings true. I don't know who is making the decisions at the top with Ubisoft, but it just feels like they just want to commit suicide. It just feels like they are trying to tank their reputation, and they're going about it in a very efficient, effective way. And this is yet another thing that it will tank their reputation. A lot of people talking about the fact that they're stealing people's games. Certainly a lot of people sort of saying, I play an Ubisoft game like once a year maybe. Ain't no way I'll be thinking or wanting to log in every 30 days so I don't lose access to my purchases. And then a lot of people saying, I'm never buying anything from Ubisoft again because of this incredibly anti-consumer service. It's just stupid. I'm not going to support them in any way, shape or form. People calling for a boycott of Ubisoft. People have been going as far as to say, you know what? I'm going to pirate their games, and this is just encouraging people to pirate games, because obviously they have purchased these games and they're, legitimately, and if they are no longer available and they are taken away from them by that developer, by that publisher, then many people feel that, I'm not buying them again, I'm going to pirate them, and a lot of people kind of saying that, that's kind of how they're feeling at the moment. So yeah, just absolutely shocking, just awful. Now, there wasn't much response from Ubisoft over the weekend, other than the responses from Ubisoft support, which themselves were pretty terrible. Didn't really address people's worries or concerns or how people were feeling about the matter. But finally, Ubisoft actually did release a statement to several journalist companies, including IGN. And IGN did actually receive an email from Ubisoft which clarified the situation a little bit. The publisher confirmed that it has for many years, and this is very definitely true, deleted inactive accounts in accordance with the EU's General Data Protection Regulation. So this is all to do with GDPR, as opposed to things like server space and that kind of thing. They use GDPR as their reason for deleting inactive accounts. They said that this isn't an uncommon thing, that a lot of other companies do the same thing, and they sort of said, the company claims its policies are aligned with the legal requirements and the standards for the industry. But Ubisoft did clarify a little bit more about, what qualifies for account deletion and the types of accounts that tend to get deleted, noting that it absolutely does not include accounts that have purchased games attached to them, according to Ubisoft. The publisher took it a little bit further to sort of, there's 4 categories that they look at. The first is the gaming activity of the account since its creation. Is it an account that just somebody's created a username and then actually hasn't accessed it again, or hasn't purchased or played any games through that account. It also looks at the account libraries, so accounts that also include purchased PC games, say through Steam or Ubisoft Connect, that these are actually not eligible for deletion. And they really did emphasize that point. The duration of the inactivity of the account as well, meaning that the last login to their ecosystem, including from games on Steam or other platforms. And they sort of said, in practice, as of today, we have never deleted accounts that have been inactive for less than 4 years, and also the existence of an active subscription like Ubisoft Plus, for example, if that's tied to the account as well, it will not be selected for suspension and possible deletion. Ubisoft went on to add that they do send an email to the user, and that user is then given a 30-day notice to be able to prevent that account from deleting by following that link that was in the email to prevent that happening. So Ubisoft is saying, don't worry guys, your games are safe. Like, we do not delete accounts that have games. If you have purchased any Ubisoft titles on Steam or Ubisoft Connect, you are safe. Your account will never be deleted. And they even clarified here that generally if you've been active in your account for more regularly than say every 4 years, that your account will not come up for deletion. Now obviously the fact that Ubisoft finally gave a statement is good. What I will say is, though, it took them far too long, in my opinion. They did actually post an update on their own website with regards to this, with a little bit more information about it, you know, sort of corroborating the same sort of thing and explaining their closure of inactive Ubisoft accounts. But they didn't really publicly make this very well known. They haven't done a very good job of, you know, publicly making an announcement, maybe apologizing, discussing the actual policy itself and whether the policy is actually working, and also, you know, clarifying what accounts tend to be deleted and you know, clarifying this policy going forward. Now, are they being fully honest? I don't know. I suspect not. I feel that maybe they made a few mistakes and that they're trying to kind of like recover from that. Obviously, the guy who got the email, and it looks like a legitimate email, he has games that he has purchased. Now, I did a bit of deep diving on this myself, just to have a look and see if this has happened before. And it has happened before. Way back in 2021, in December 2021, there actually was an article in PC World on their online website, and it basically confirmed that they had spoken to someone that had their account deleted, and that didn't see this email, you know, sent by Ubisoft, and they had purchased games. So I'm going to go through this article in a little bit more detail with you. So in this article, they basically spoke to, I think it was a Norwegian guy called Tor, who had been kind of an avid PC gamer. Now in 2020, he basically sold his PC because he felt he was gaming too much and it went a little bit over the healthy way of doing things. So he made a choice to work and attend school, and he sold his PC. Now, in the summer of 2021, he decided to get back into gaming, so he purchased a new gaming PC. And then when he went to log into his Ubisoft account, he discovered that he was unable to actually log back into his account. He was able to reset his password, but he eventually learned that the account had been closed, taking hundreds of dollars worth of purchased games with it. All Ubisoft titles from Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege to Assassin's Creed and more were basically gone instantly. Now, he did actually contact Ubisoft support for support and help with this, and they basically told him, sorry, tough luck, you know, you can't recover it, it's deleted, it's permanently locked. And he was basically told that there was nothing that they could do to recover his account and also the games that had been, you know, deleted from his account that he had basically lost access to. He said that the email he got from Ubisoft account as well, he got one email, a single warning of activity, and that email of course went into his spam folder, so he never got it and he never saw it. Now, PC World reached out to Ubisoft for a comment, and they basically said, we've implemented the account deletion process in compliance with GDPR, but they were adamant that they don't delete accounts that have been inactive for less than 4 years, and that if they have games on them, that these accounts don't come up for deletion. So they were adamant that this kind of situation that had happened was impossible, but they sort of said that they would get in touch with him to obviously resolve the situation. Now, if we actually, when you go through the Twitter, comments and things, there are other people that have mentioned, having this happen to them and having had their account deactivated, suspended, and then get that close warning from Ubisoft, and they had purchased games on their account. So whatever policy, whatever system Ubisoft was working, it is not foolproof. When you actually look at Ubisoft's terms and conditions regarding, the Ubisoft Connect and the accounts, when you actually go into the system that looks at sort of account termination, it basically confirms that Ubisoft may suspend or close your account and your ability to use one or more services or part of the services at any time, automatically and at their sole discretion. So that's sort of saying we have the right to close your account. They said that there is certain criteria that they do look at. One can be obviously, if you haven't provided proof of identity, or due to your behavior or breach of terms and conditions. The other one, it does also mention inactivity, but on the terms and conditions it says where your account has been inactive for more than 6 months. So that is in complete contradiction to what Ubisoft are saying is their 4-year limit on closing accounts. So there's a lot to be said from this. Now, the whole news cycle for me is very worrying. This is another indication that digital libraries and digital media, they're not safe, that you are not buying that game. You have no ownership over that game. And the only thing that you are doing is purchasing a license to be able to play that game. Now, that license, that ability, that account, it can be taken away from you whenever, and I think it is that area that has most concerned people, because people, when they do purchase a game and they do buy a game, they do feel that they have a sense of ownership to it. A lot of people like buying games, and they might revisit a game 5 years down the road to play it again and see how that game experiences again, for a second or a third time. There are a lot of people that like to play old games, that like to come back and revisit their favorite games again and again and again, but certainly they don't have to log into their account every 6 months to make sure that their account isn't deleted or suspended and that they don't lose access to these games. This account closure for inactivity seems to be a very, very unique thing for Ubisoft. When you have a look at other platforms, like Microsoft will delete accounts for inactivity, but only if there's no purchase games, there's no activity at all on those accounts. Like, for example, bots and things, if you create multiple names because you want to protect a name or something like that, or through cheating and things like that. But no account closures for this kind of reason. This is not good PR for Ubisoft at all. This is a situation that they need to revisit. I get that they have to follow legal requirements for GDPR, but other companies are not doing this. They are not using, the same policy as Ubisoft. So they really need to relook at this policy, because there are clearly being mistakes made, and if these accounts are automated, then there's something wrong with their system and the way in which they're flagging accounts to be closed. A lot of people are going to miss a single email. You get sent so many notifications and emails and things that go into your spam folder. It would be so easy to actually miss that email warning from Ubisoft, and then you're only given 30 days to actually prevent that account from closing. So I am so curious how many other people have had their accounts closed and have had these similar issues. But it's that once your account is closed, losing access to all of your games and the games that you have purchased, surely Ubisoft must have your information, your data somewhere, because Tor was able to change his password. So they clearly had his data somewhere on the system. surely they would have been able to recover his account and the games obviously that he had purchased. But this is really bad. I mean, it very much does raise the whole debate again regarding the way in which, you know, games ownership works now, the way in which we are becoming increasingly more digital with subscription services and Steam. And I can't even imagine how much money I've spent on Steam and how many games I own on Steam. Just the thought of like that account being closed and losing access to all of those games and all of that money I've spent being for nothing, that is not a good thing to be considering. So this is a huge news, I think, for the gaming industry. I'm very curious what your thoughts are on this policy that Ubisoft has, on their response to it. Personally, I feel that Ubisoft's response has not been good enough. For me, they needed to be more vocal. They needed to be very much trying to put out this fire and apologize for all of the panic and all of the worry and all of the concern from their community. They will have lost even more faith, even with people that are hardcore Ubisoft fans, I'm sure, are disgusted by this policy. So, and it'll definitely make people second guess themselves when it comes to buying an Ubisoft product. Like, do I buy it digitally on Steam, or shall I get it on PlayStation or on Xbox, or shall I actually buy a physical copy of the game instead of a digital copy, or shall I just not buy it at all because I might lose it, you know, if my account gets closed? So I think a lot of people are going to be second guessing themselves when it comes to purchasing and choosing whether or not to put that money down against that Ubisoft product. I do think Ubisoft have dropped the ball here. I do think they needed to be communicating a lot clearer, a lot quicker as well. So I don't think they've handled this well. And then even when we see what they have said, that definitely flies into some contradictions in terms of what their terms and conditions are saying, but also previous articles and what other people have been saying about having had their accounts closed and having had active game purchases on their account as well, which is a complete contradiction to what Ubisoft are saying as well. So my suggestion is, you know, keep an eye on your emails if you do get sent anything. Maybe if you're out on PC, just log into your account. It's annoying as hell to have to do, but maybe at least make sure you do it at least once every 6 months, because it would suck if you lost all of your games, through Ubisoft's account. But the terms and conditions do say every 6 months, even though they're saying 4 years. But I go based more on what their terms and conditions are saying than anything else. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Let's get a discussion going. What are your thoughts on this? This is just a tangent, you know, a little bit of my thoughts on it, a little bit of the news. Very quick, you know, very rapid, because obviously still not great with my back and my neck, but I wanted to get something out here for you guys so you guys can chat about it. Anyway, I hope you guys are having a great week. Take care, everybody, and as always, happy gaming. I should go.